get out of your head into your body, just remembering that we're on a floating rock in space, learning more about quantum physics. So in general, we're only perceiving a small portion of reality. We can't see ultraviolet light. We cannot hear the low and high pitched tones that other animals can hear. Our sense of smell is quite weak. So for the most part, we do not know what's going on. So it's really about that curiosity and going into nature and being quiet and listening and just feeling your body ground while you're in that environment is a massive resource for us as humans to not only balance our nervous systems and really open our minds to the inspiration that is constantly all around us, as long as we're not having that mental chatter.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are here with Elka Kerkhofs Cara Maxson, and we are going to be talking today about art, about creativity, about inspiration, about finding your vision. Now we have Elka, who is an award-winning animator. She's a filmmaker, photographer, designer, and she's been an academic lecturer for over 20 years. And Cara is a physician specializing in chronic disease and terminal diagnoses. She has a background in neuroscience. And so we're going to be talking about how these two people kind of joined up together, and they have this fascination and continued study of creativity, design, and spirituality, which has sparked the creation of their company called Kelka Art and Design. So Elka and Cara, glad to be talking to you.
Lovely to be talking to you,
Thank
Robert.
All right,
Great
so we're
here.
going to
Thank
have
you.
a lot of fun. So you're very, very welcome. So what is the just who do you help? Like, what's your niche? You have this kind of this cool blend of the art and the science, but who needs the most help from you, and what sort of solution do you provide?
Well, we cater to businesses and to individuals who feel like they want to reinvigorate their business or their ideas. And if they feel like they creatively stuck or they can't break out of the box, those are the kind of people that we are helping.
And do you have any interesting stories to that effect? Someone that was stuck in this box, that was just doing the same old thing day to day, that needed the inspiration, needed the fresh air, and found you? Any fun stories come to mind?
Fun stories. I mean, to me and to us, they success stories. We had one client. She was making kombucha. That's like a fermented drink, and she was selling it at markets. And when I came across her, it was at a market, and I saw her stall, and I just went, if you want to sell more kombucha, I can help you with redesigning what your stall looks like and make your production line more efficient. After I got to know her a little bit and saw how she was doing her business and making her produce. And so we did that. We joined forces, and we completely redesigned the branding of the market stall, including what it looks like, including her production line, and her business has just skyrocketed since.
And so do you think what's missing is this outside person such as yourself looking in, that maybe they set up the website or they set up the logo and the branding maybe years ago and didn't put much thought into it, and they just been using the same thing, and maybe they need someone like you to see it for the first time and say, well, it's great that what you've done has got you to this point, but you kind of need more to continue further?
Yes, exactly like that. The outside eye that can bring in a fresh new idea to think completely outside of the box, that's not necessarily associated with the project, with the produce that has been made, but can completely come in fresh and listen to what they are trying to do, and then execute that idea by talking to them and by hearing what they are trying to do, and then reinventing or reinvigorating that whole idea.
And what you're reminding me of is there's many times when, say, like I've had to hire like a copywriter or someone to write like a web page or do something like graphic design, and they give me all these questions and I answer all these things, and I almost feel like I'm doing like a lot of the work for them because they just have so many things that they're asking. But it makes a lot of sense that like a lot of this process seems to be not necessarily just like making things up or looking at competitors, but like asking all these questions. And you said really listening a lot to like what that client wants or what's missing, or maybe something that they can like almost articulate into the words or the design. And with your help, you get it all the way there.
Yes, maybe
Yeah,
Cara,
I'll
do you
interject
wanna
here.
speak it up?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so basically we're stepping into the world of our clients. So we're looking at what their temperament is, their personality, what their vision and goal is, what their heart's really longing to communicate. You know, what is at the heart of their product that they're trying to get out? What's the meaning behind it? And we're walking that journey side by side with them, constantly reflecting back different aspects that they may not have seen before. So it's really this collaboration. It can be involving art, and it can also be in relationship. We're just bringing new perspectives and new life into what may be outside of their realm of what they've considered before.
I like that a lot. I like that approach. And so since you're jumping in here, Cara, can you tell us how the heck both of you ended up working together? It seems like you both have like very different backgrounds and professions. So how did that kind of collaboration happen, and what does each of you like bring to what you do?
Yeah, it is an interesting combination, but we actually have a lot of commonalities together. You know, when we're looking at, we both love the arts, but when we're actually looking at what art is, it's more about creation, and every moment we're creating. And we actually met at an event, a personal growth and development spiritual event, and we really connected on our capacities to create and what we wanted to create, our visions. So essentially, we are looking at our lives as works of art. You know, they're individual expressions of our individuality. So even though I wouldn't necessarily consider myself an artist, and I would consider Elka is an artist, we're creating all the time. So whether that's in our relationships, how we're speaking to each other, what we're cooking, what we're wearing, the way that we arrange our homes, this is a very dynamic process, and we can see the beauty and expression of our essence in that. It's all about a medium for communication, and we share the passion of you know, helping people find happiness and harmony in their lives and getting their message out and really expressing themselves. So that's how we connected, and we just decided we could come together and really expand on this brand to move into people's lives and bring more happiness and harmony.
And what's the secret for both of you working together? Like you mentioned in there that you work together on this passion to get people to their goals and things like that. But there's sometimes when I collaborate with someone else, I have these bad flashbacks to being back in school when you had to do like a really dreaded group project. And sometimes the other person put in a lot into the project, but they went off on their own tangent and you were just trying to get caught up. Or sometimes the other person would under deliver, and then you feel like you're like carrying all this extra weight. So how do you avoid those sorts of extremes? How do you work together and get these things done and not drive yourself crazy and everything else?
You know,
Yes.
I think we complement each other really well, because some of my strengths are, you know, filling in some gaps for Elka, and Elka's strengths are filling in my gaps. So we each have our strengths that are complementing the process. And Elka, I know you want to jump in and share.
It's okay. Go for it.
Yeah, so I think that we both have a skill set that is complementary to whatever's brought to the table. Elka's background in actual graphic design is extremely important. My background in neuroscience and working very closely with individuals also complements the process. The capacity to read situations and really get to the heart of what the person is trying to communicate. So we have a really beautiful blend, and I think there's just a natural flow. We don't really come up onto too many struggles, or we haven't yet. So knock on wood, but it's really a beautiful collaboration that we both really love, and it feeds us. So yeah, it's been awesome to work together.
And also you speak about those challenges, Robert. That is also a process that you work on. So we work together and we learn together, and we have this really beautiful way of working through bits and pieces that might be challenging, and then we just kind of sort of come up with a system that works. And we're really good at listening to each other and constantly asking each other for feedback, and what do you think about this, and what do you think about that? And so there's a constant sparking going on, and that is the creation of new ideas.
And I like that mentality a lot, that you said that there's this thing that you've chosen to work on. And what comes to mind there is, let's say there's something about your own life or work ethic, productivity, skill, whatever, and you're not good at it. Well, the part of the solution is to just work on it, right? If you were not good at a sport, just put in the time, put in the practice, or put in the mental headspace and say, well, what could I do to make this better? And to maybe, if this is a huge problem that's going to take me a long time to fix, how can I just get it inched along, and how can I make that part of my focus and work on that? And so a kind of a nebulous, hard to solve problem for many people is this concept of being inspired, right? And sometimes people say like, well, I don't feel creative, or I don't feel motivated, or I don't feel inspired. So what do you say to someone if they're looking to kind of unlock that potential? What's the answer? How do they get out of a rut or a funk?
Well, that's interesting that you speak about that, because I was speaking to my niece the other day, who's starting her study of graphic design. So she wants to be a graphic designer as well. And I told her, I said, when you're going to start uni, find out what inspires you, and find out how you can broaden your inspiration reach, so that you can't feel stuck. So find what makes you unstuck, so to speak. And so for myself, what makes me unstuck is moving through space, either in a car or a train or a plane. And that movement, physical movement, gets me unstuck, and the creativity, or the funnel of inspiration just opens up.
And that's great to think about, because you're reminding me that there's been times when I've been kind of wanting to get unstuck the way that you describe it, and then thinking back, okay, well, when did I feel excited, and what was my like physical location, and what was I doing, and what triggered all that, and kind of using the life experience to have the swipe file or the tools in the toolbox, or however you want to call it, so that way you can kind of revisit that, like, oh, on accident, I might have stumbled across that, taking a walk or driving the car, or going for a run kind of got me worked up and energized again. And then I can kind of reuse that tool in the toolbox to get back to where I was. And so it's kind of along those lines, what sort of like vision do you, Elka and Cara, have for your company? What are you building? What's next for you, both of you?
Cara, do you want an answer to that?
Sure, yeah. So we're kind of opening up our business to work one-on-one with different people in different aspects. So definitely working on business ideas and marketing, how to leverage your brand, change your marketing so you have open to new clientele, get more attention, but also on a personal level of tapping into what your life is really about, what brings meaning, what brings you happiness, so that you can take that into your business, helping you with relationships, so that we can bring in, new dynamics that really fulfill your life. It's all about personal fulfillment, so that you can actualize your vision in life. And I think working one-on-one with people in a really intimate way is what feeds us, and also brings new ideas of how we can actually spread our message and our vision, and bring more inspiration into people's lives. And ultimately, when we're happy and we're healthy, we're naturally more generous, we're quicker to forgive, we're very peaceful, we share what we love, and ultimately that is a ripple effect into our collective that is very much needed at this time. So yeah, that's what I would say. Elka, do you want to share some more?
Yeah, well, I want to add to that. So to get to that state, what Cara is speaking about, we use creativity. We tap into the creative energies, and it is just about inspiring people and to teach them to think outside the box. Because often what I experience a lot about people is saying, this is life, this is my life, this is the box that they live in. And what we're saying, well, if you think there, and if you think there, and if you think there, and if you think there, now the box is suddenly opened up. And now you can sort of start thinking outside the box, and you can create something new. You can create a new reality for yourself. AI in your personal life, AI in your business, AI in your visual communication, like whatever it is for you personally. And that is what we are really good at, and that's what we want to inspire people to take charge, because that creativity is going to be like a new way forward in terms of careers, and what businesses are going to look at, and what is going to be the next wave of us as human beings, so to speak.
And
what
what is
add
the
in there? Oh, sorry, I was just going to add in, it's all about getting curious about the situation. So whether that's in your business or your relationship, whatever it is, it's looking, how can I see this differently? What is the intended outcome? And it's the creativity that's greatly influencing the outcome. How fluid can you, in your approach, can you be? And are you willing to step outside of, the conceptual framework like Elka was talking about? So it's an exploration into the possibilities. The most successful businesses are continually asking what else is possible. So that question is kind of the guiding light.
And, whenever we get into a conversation like this, thinking about what else is possible, or creativity, possibilities, thinking outside the box, I start thinking that, okay, if I get these new ideas, I need to implement them. Otherwise, I feel like I've squandered the good ideas, right? It's easy to fill a notebook of all these possibilities, what ifs, but then what does it actually translate into? Actions I'm taking, goals I'm hitting, projects I'm finishing, new things in my business, new opportunities, new customers, new money, all those sorts of things. So what is kind of the list of deliverables? Like you've mentioned some of these things about having a conversation about productivity. So I assume there's one-on-one coaching calls. And then Elka, you mentioned earlier about doing a brand redesign. But if someone says, okay, I have these things that I want improved in my life or in my business, and you say, well, here are the tangible deliverables. So what sorts of finished products do you both deliver?
So if you're interested in working with us, you can send us an email at kelkaartanddesign@gmail.com, or you find us Kelka Art and Design on Facebook. So those are the two places that you can find us. And so there is different possibilities. So you can either choose to have consultations with us for an extended period of time. And in that time, we really listen to you, we work with you, and we help you recreate something new into your business or into your life, and to just feel inspired. And for us to drive you to take that next step and that next action. The other thing that we can offer is a complete package of a product that is redesigned, that we design for you and with you, and then kind of rebrand your business or redesign your business, like we do also interior design of spaces, and also graphic arts, and even animation and short videos. We can do all of that, and we have the tools and the means to do that. And Cara, you want to add something there in the personal coaching part?
Yeah, I mean, it's really an individualized plan on the person we're meeting with and what their vision is. And they're going to walk away each session with homework and exercises that are going to completed based on the timeline that we're working. It could look like weekly meetings where, you know, they're doing something every day to make that next step. So when we meet again, that step is complete, and then now we're taking another step. Or it could even look like a weekend intensive, a day-long intensive, where we're just sitting down together and doing it together. So it can really look any way based on the client's needs and availability.
Okay, so you customize a lot of this.
Yes, because each person is coming with their own personal ideas and their own personal needs and requirements. So, but at the same time, Robert, we also are designing a course. So we will be delivering an online course that people can do. So if people are more interested in learning in group versus the personal coaching, then we are about to launch that also very shortly.
Oh, great. Many things. And that is kelkaartanddesign@gmail.com. And to give credit where credit is due, you designed a bunch of these book covers for the Pat Mesiti books, including The Best Chapter of Your Life, where you both have chapters. You designed the artwork for this exact podcast that we're on. And you mentioned real quick about animations and short videos. And just to satisfy my curiosity, can you give us a tidbit or a taste of some kind of animation or short video, that kind of project that you both did that you feel like mentioning in these last few minutes here?
Well, I've made a couple of short animated films that have won awards, and so they are viewable. You can watch them on Vimeo, and the titles of them are Filled with Water, Lash, and those are two examples that people can go and view on Vimeo if they choose to.
And to make it easy, if someone Googles your name or searches you on Vimeo, can they easily find that channel and those videos? Okay, correct. So then to make sure that we give the right information, the name is Elka Kerkhofs, and that is ELKA is the first name, and last name is KERKHOFS. And then, so that way we can easily find it. And then Cara Maxson, that is CARAMAXSON. And so for now, we said that on Facebook, that is Kelka Art and Design. And then the email address is kelkaartanddesign@gmail.com. So as we're wrapping up, winding down our conversation here, Elka and Cara, do you have any final parting words of advice or anything you feel like we left out, or just something to wrap up our conversation?
Cara, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I just want to thank you so much for having us on and letting us connect and have this opportunity to speak. And yeah, just if there is anything that you would like revamped in your life, new sources of inspiration or creativity, or even wanting to learning how to tap into creativity, you know, we're happy to have a consult. We offer free 15-minute consults to make sure that we're a good match and that we can work well together and help you achieve your goals. And yeah, I look forward to, you know, meeting you again.
Well, one last thing here, Elka, I'm not gonna let you leave me empty-handed, or I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but as far as Cara here mentioned about revamping and revisiting and refreshing and tapping into inspiration and creativity. So let's say someone came to you and said, what's your number one tip, or what's something for me to keep in mind as far as having that open mind and tapping into inspiration, creativity? Any little quick tip come to mind?
I could jump in here. I mean, for me, that would be getting out into nature, looking at the stars, get out of your head, into your body, just remembering that we're on a floating rock in space, you know, learning more about quantum physics. So in general, we're only perceiving a small portion of reality. We can't see ultraviolet light. We cannot hear the low and high pitched tones that other animals can hear. Our sense of smell is quite weak. So for the most part, we do not know what's going on. So it's really about that curiosity and going into nature and being quiet and listening and just feeling your body ground while you're in that environment is a massive resource for us as humans to not only balance our nervous systems and really open our minds to the inspiration that is constantly all around us, as long as we're not having that mental chatter. You know, we are surrounded by sources of inspiration and creativity at all times, and it's really just learning to clear out our eyes so that we can see it.
I love it. Well, there's the homework assignment, since we mentioned a little bit about homework earlier. So if you're feeling unstuck, stuck in a rut, or if you're feeling like stuck in a rut and you want to be unstuck, or just things just don't feel right, then there's a quick homework assignment. Get out into nature, get to that quiet, get to that calmness, and then you can play those mental tricks on yourself and think, well, I'll listen to the crickets, or I'll try to listen to the stream far away and things like that. So get into nature to re-tap into that creativity. Kelka Art and Design at gmail.com. Send them a quick email, tell them that you like the episode, or say a few of those things in that interview made sense. Can you help me to revamp my brand, or give me this this graphic solution, or this video solution, or this coaching solution, get me re-inspired? Kelka Art and Design at gmail.com. Send that quick message right now while it's still fresh on your mind. And thank you, Elka and Cara, for showing up and for answering these really cool questions.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Robert,
thanks so much for having us.
Yes, for having us and interviewing us. It's fantastic.